everyone. Welcome to the Play Choices podcast, the podcast you hear. I'm your host, V.
I'm the co-host, Lucas.
So we're going to spend this episode discussing chapters 5 through 6 of Laws of Attraction, and this episode is not going to be spoiler safe, so if you want to avoid spoilers for Laws of Attraction, chapters 1 through 6, please go read those first, and then we'll be here for you to come back and listen. Y'all, Laws of Attraction did it again. They did it again. These long-ass motherfucking chapters for no reason.
They are beefy. They are beefy.
I tell you that I literally took breaks in taking notes. Like, I literally had to take a break in making the notes for this recording because it was just too much.
When I tell you, there'd just be multiple days in the chapter and it'd be throwing me off. Because it'd be like, I go to bed, I'm like, all right, cool. I wake up and I'm like, what's going on? Chapter continues. I'm like, damn. Like,
we go into new places. We go into the fire station. We fucking somebody. We coming back. We solve the case. I said, what is the next chapter? I said, what, is this all in the same day? What? God damn, lawyers do too much motherfucking work for me.
Okay.
Clearly not the profession I was destined to be in, which is totally fine. But god damn, these chapters are thick. These chapters are thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Like, they have a lot to get through. And I remember I played these chapters on different days because, like I said, I needed a break. And I had, like, an extra key left over, and I had finished playing chapter 6 or something. And normally, I would be like, oh, let me just go ahead and start chapter 7. Just so the key's already there. Just so the key's already there. Couldn't even do that. Even just pressing a button to open a chapter, I said, no, I'm taking PTO. I'm going. I'm leaving the office. It was too much. There was too much shit going on here. Anyways, let's just dive into it because obviously, meaty chapters, obviously we have some things that we want to say relating to this content. So let's just go ahead and get started with chapter 5. The chapter is called Day in Moot Court, and as a reminder, the default MC name is Quinn Michaels, so we're going to be referring to the MC as Quinn from here on out. The chapter summary says, McGraw-Burns Moot Court is here, and your partnership dream depends on how you do. Listen, I'm not surprised this was a beefy chapter, because at the end of our last episode, when I was finished, making the episode notes, I was like, that one's gonna be long. Just the preparation for the damn case took me 3 business days to get to, even though it was less than 24 hours for them, but it took me 3 business days to get through the chapter. It's ridiculous. So, the chapter begins with Quinn arriving at the office, and all of the paralegals are placing bets on which team is going to win. So, as a reminder, Quinn is on the team with Ashlyn, and then Gigi, Bo, and Martin are all on one team. When Quinn says that they hope that their team is getting the bets, the paralegals just go silent. Dead. Like, you could hear a pen drop. I said, bitch, this is not making me feel real confident.
So awkward. It was
so awkward. For what reason? Like, I can't believe, did they really think that Bo, of all people, was gonna wipe the floor with us? I did not understand that.
I mean, he just there because of Auntie. Like, let's talk about it.
The nepotism.
The nepotism.
Martin's just there because he wants to wave around his Yale pin. Gigi's probably the only one I'm afraid of. Honestly.
Yes, because she's the only one, like, we talk about it. She's sneaky. Gigi a little sneaky.
I don't know what's going on with her. She makes me a little nervous, to be honest. And here's the thing, we've gone 6 chapters, and I will say she's done nothing sketchy, but I'm just so fucking nervous. I'm so nervous. The betrayal that I know is coming from somebody. And because Gigi, she's acting a little bit too aloof, she's acting a little bit too chill about the competition.
Yes.
I'm like, ooh, girl, do not disappoint me because I really like you so far, and I will be upset if I find out some shady shit has been happening. Pretty much the only paralegal that actually is, like, rooting for us is Ryan, basically. Ryan's the only one who gives a fuck about us. That's exactly why I bought that diamond scene from him last chapter, because he's the ride or die of the paralegal team. So Quinn will continue walking through the office and encounters both Martin and Ashlyn. Ashlyn is very nervous about having to argue the case in front of the entire firm because, I mean, as we know, she's very shy. It's one of her weaknesses. And even as Quinn and Ashlyn start to work together to figure out a strategy for them to, present in court as a team the best, Ashlyn continues to just panic about the case. Like, the bitch, she getting upset about she hasn't had enough food. She's like, what if I faint? She's just coming up with every hypothetical situation that could cause her to, I guess, have a very embarrassing event. in front of the entire firm. So there is an 18 diamond scene to take Ashlyn out to breakfast. So did you take it?
Yes, because I was like, girl, you're not about to make me look bad.
Girl, I said, first of all, you couldn't have grabbed a bagel on the way in. And yes, it's like, I guess if 18 diamonds is what I have to do so that way you don't like cry in the middle of the fucking courtroom, then I guess is what we about to do.
And emotionally, like, I just feel like this diamond scene tugs on like a lot of emotional strings in the sense that like Ashlyn,
Mm-hmm.
whether you pursue her as an ally or not, has been like a great friend to you, has
Mm-hmm.
helped you out a lot, has like just like always had your back. And then empathetically, like you just like want her to do the best because like she's been here for 5 years, you know. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, you coming in fresh out the block, getting offer positions, and then like
Right.
the stage fright, like to know that anxiety stops you from doing your job
Mm-hmm.
well instead of you just not being able to do your job well. I was like, girl, let's go get some food, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, no, and there's a lot of relatable things coming on here between the stage fright and the anxiety. I mean, bitch, when I saw her freaking out and she was like, "What if I didn't have food? What if I panic and what if I faint?" I was like, "Oh, girl, I've been here."
I
I said,
felt
"Let's
that.
go get you a muffin. It's gonna be
Yes.
fine, baby girl." But like, her mind was running, and that's what I'll say. Like, the thing that I really enjoy about Ashlyn is like all of her panic is like very believable and relatable if you've experienced anxiety. Like, it made sense. Like, I was reading the dialogue and I was like, oh, I said, let's go do some deep breathing, some meditation outside.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go get a muffin. Let's go hear, the commotion on the streets and realize and get out of our head, because she was definitely in her head. So I did take this scene because, like I said, like, you're not about to embarrass me in front of the whole firm. Like, Ashlyn, love you, but we're gonna have to fix this. So when you take the scene, Ashlyn will open up about being nervous and will ask Quinn how they manage to seem so confident. Quinn can either say that they do get nervous or that they love arguing the case, so it's like the best part of being a lawyer. But either way, Quinn will end up reassuring Ashlyn that she is a good lawyer and that each lawyer has both their strengths and weaknesses. And then Ashlyn will ask to run through the opening statement with Quinn, and she will mess up while practicing. So Quinn will just continue to give Ashlyn more tips to improve her opening, and overall she'll be very grateful for Quinn's help, which is when Quinn can either ask for her to butter up Sadie for Quinn or can ask for a real date between the two. So there is, of course, an opportunity to make it a little bit flirty, but I would say overall this is still one of those LIs that is a little bit more of a slow burn, which I'm personally okay with because it would make me very uncomfortable if we could just like fuck her on like the second chapter because
Oh
she is her
yeah.
coworker.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So I like that, she's receptive to the flirting, but then she's like, okay, but like moot court is in like 10 minutes. So like, maybe let's not get too caught up in this. But I think either way, no matter how you end it, Ashlyn is like way more confident in the scene. So how did you feel about the scene? Do you feel like it was worth the 18 diamonds?
I do. I do. The dialogue, I feel like saved it. Like the whole idea was a little like, but the dialogue and like really connecting with Ashlyn and like going constantly just like reassuring her and some of the options that you can choose in order to give her confidence, I thought were very creative. Like I
Mm-hmm.
chose the option that was like, yo, be your boss, like be Sadie,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
be a bad bitch, and like the scene just felt very heartwarming. So yeah, I think it was worth it. I thought it was written very well.
I honestly think this is definitely like one of the better examples of like choices writing. I
Oh
know that
yeah,
we get on this
absolutely.
podcast and we roast the fuck out of them when the writing's really bad, but the writing in this scene, and I would just overall say in this book, I
Oh,
honestly really do
absolutely.
enjoy.
We've been real quiet.
Mhm. And also another thing, I don't think you know this, but Laws of Attraction is actually on hiatus right now. It stopped on chapter 8, and they're on hiatus right now, which a lot of people are really upset about because there's not a ton of book releases happening
hmm
each week. So when they went on hiatus, kind of peeved off a couple of people. And a lot of people are really big fans of it, but I think that there is this overall kind of sentiment that like maybe they're going on hiatus because they're going to rewrite it into a series
Right, right.
potentially. So I don't know, maybe that's something we can look forward to because obviously, I mean, we're fans of the book. It definitely is a very popular book. People are upset that it's on hiatus, like they're definitely missing it. So I think it's probably very likely that they're trying to rewrite the ending to figure out a way to like kind of entice and excite people for like a book two.
As they should, because it is just so well written. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, allies top tier, plot top tier. The only questionable episode was the first episode and how
that
Quinn
was
got
really
the position. That was
yeah.
it.
The opening chapter was a little awkward, but I feel like after that they really found their stride, which is something y'all know if you've listened to the Foreign Affairs episode. You know how I feel about this. Like, I just try to give the first 1 to 2 chapters of a book a chance, because I feel like sometimes you just kind of need to put up with what a book is doing in the opening to get to where they want to go. And I definitely feel like they got where they wanted to go, for sure. And I'm here, I'm right in the passenger seat.
Right up, baby. I'm right.
Driving.
Hello.
I'm navigating for him. I got the map pulled out. I got the map, and Lucas has got the snacks.
Okay.
So this is definitely one of those better scenes. And plus, not to mention, not only is it a character that I like, the dialogue is good. It's a very believable situation, and it honestly did, sometimes when you take these kind of, fluffier scenes with allies, I get quite bored, but this is one that actually kept my attention because the dialogue was interesting. But also, when you think about it, I mean, it also pays off because she also performs well in the case too.
Oh, yes.
So there's definitely dividends that come out of the scene, later on. After you finish this diamond scene, and the next scene, Moot Court will begin, I do also just want to remind everybody that in the last episode, I did pick to defend Sam and not Augur, which is the company that is facing the lawsuit here. So all of my notes are specific to that. So I'm sure it changes here and there depending on what side you took. But just know that as I'm walking through, what happens in the book is coming from that perspective. And remind me, did you pick Sam too?
I sure did. Little people. Okay. Little people.
Fighting for a little man.
Hey.
Hey. If you took the diamond scene beforehand, Ashlyn will begin very confidently with the opening statement, and she will stumble a bit in the middle, but Quinn can help her, and she's able to get back on track. So the first witness that gets called is Dr. Winogard, who was Sam's graduate advisor, and Dr. Winogard will testify that they saw Sam's sketches for a smart window as a student 6 months before he actually completed his thesis, which is confirming that the idea was not actually conceived while he was working at the company. And then the next witness, Aaron Teff, is Augur's lawyer. Teff was a lawyer who got Sam to sign the contract that would forego Sam's ownership and would allow Augur to claim all of the future inventions for the company and therefore, of course, all of the profit from them. Quinn will ask about an exceptions list that does mention smart windows, and the list confirms that Sam did have the idea for smart windows before starting the job. And Aaron will comment that the idea he presented is materially different from Augur's product. So, that's the claim that they're moving forward with now. So then Sam will come to the stand. Quinn will establish that Sam had the idea before his employment and also how far he got on the project, and then Sam will also confirm that he made sure that windows were exempt from the contract. Sam will then reveal that he felt pressure to sign the contract, which is to be expected because pretty much anytime you join any company like this, I've signed contracts like this before, but he wants to defend his case for every, basement inventor is what he's calling them. And if you take the diamond scene with Ryan that we mentioned in the previous episode, this will kind of give you a leg up, a little bit of extra insight onto the case. And Quinn can ask about Sam's relationship with his supervisor. So Sam will kind of stumble over this question, and we will learn that they were actually living together. And there are also texts where Sam confirmed with his girlfriend that they were actually planning on defrauding Augur, which of course is a crime, and they had conspired basically the entire case. They knew what they were doing when Sam applied for the job, essentially. This will cause basically the entire room to erupt in chaos once this gets revealed, and the other team will be very caught off guard. So then Gabe will call Quinn and Martin to the bench, and Quinn will ask to dismiss the case since it's technically a criminal case and in the wrong court. Gabe is very shocked that Quinn wants to do this to their own client, and Sadie does say that this would get them disbarred if it was a real courtroom. Quinn will argue that they were given the task to defend a client whose case shouldn't ethically be in the court. So technically, they could have moved to skip the moot court altogether. So depending on how you look at it, it's on one way, they did it with some sort of style and flair. So, a part of moot court is the show, right? It's the show, because you're doing it in front of the entire firm, and you're trying to prove
it's the dramatics. Yeah.
And then the other dialogue option that Quinn could pick is that they actually did the other team a favor, because if they had mentioned this beforehand, then the other team would have even have gotten a chance to present in court. Which either way,
period.
That's a burn.
Okay, that is on being 10 steps ahead.
Yes, it's a 3rd-degree burn.
It's a 3rd-degree burn. It's premeditated.
Yeah. That was premeditated murder, as far as I'm concerned.
What?
So once Quinn makes her case to Sadie, Sadie will actually smile and say that Quinn is correct, that the case shouldn't even have made it to court. And with that, Quinn and Ashlyn will win moot court. I don't know how the scene goes if you, didn't get the diamond scene. I don't know how that determines who wins, but all I know is I won.
Me, same, sis. Same.
I won, so I feel good about that. Gabe will then call everyone into his office and say that they actually expected more of the associates to notice the detail about the relationship, and then Gabe will also reveal the ranking. So in this ranking, where were you?
Baby, you already know, baby. Hello? You know how we do. Baby, first place. Hello?
First, we were in first place. And then Ashley will be in third place, and she'll ask for feedback because I guess she was expecting to be in second place. Now, if she was more confident during the trial, if you took the diamond scene, Gabe will praise her performance and say that it's the best that he's ever seen her at, and will reveal that she's actually very close to second. Martin was ahead of her just purely because of the amount of hours that he put in for the case, but that's pretty much it. The next morning, Gabe will hand out folders to everyone, and we learn that the next case is a pro bono housing case relating to a wrongful eviction and a fire. So Quinn will head down to the fire station and meet Tyler, who is the first firefighter to the scene. We will learn that a family, the Hashemis, survived a fire, which is now being used as a reason to evict them. Tyler will become very irritated when we explain the case to him, and he says that the landlord wasn't really concerned about the people inside. They were more so concerned about the integrity of the building. The tenants did report a sparking outlet several times before the actual accident happened. So if we can find evidence to prove that it was the outlet, they would therefore, be let off of the wrongful eviction claim. So Tyler would take us to the back office and then provide paperwork that does confirm that the outlet wasn't grounded correctly, and that's what started the fire. And he'll also give us some insight that the management company has a reputation for buying old apartment buildings and then forcing out the tenants so that way they can turn them into condos. So Tyler will imply that the landlord didn't fix the outlet on purpose so that way they would be forced out. So we get a lot of really good evidence, a lot of good kind of hunches to keep going on to solve the case. Tyler will then show Quinn out, and at the same time, a stream of water from a fire hose will hit them, leaving both of them soaked. And Tyler will offer to dry Quinn's clothes at his place. I didn't include this in my notes, but I mean, the way these two were lusting after each other, the way that Quinn was checking out Tyler and Tyler was checking out Quinn from the moment that Quinn walked into the damn fire station was palpable.
There was tension. There was some good sexual tension.
And then Tyler was like, oh yeah, we could dry your clothes at my place. I was like, oh.
I was irritated at first because when I tell you I'm so focused on staying number one and actually winning this partnership, I'm so focused. And the flirting, and I was like, oh my God. But as it continued, I was like, ooh, do I like this? Is this what I want?
He has some character. They made his character design very handsome. Oh my God, and the way that it described the clothes clinging to his body.
Ooh, he was digging in the filing cabinet and it was his back muscles.
Yes, his back muscles were rippling through his shirt.
Yes.
So this was a 20 diamond scene to hook up. It was a one-time hookup. He's not an ally, but did you take it?
Okay, so listen, Gabe he's not giving me no nut.
Baby, nobody's accusing you of nothing. We single. We hoes out here.
Okay. In these streets, okay?
Exactly.
Okay, we streaming Doja Cat and Megan Thee Stallion driving, okay?
Okay, before we get on with the rest of the chapter, let me interrupt with some plugs. So you can leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/play-choices-podcast/message. It could show up in a future episode. You can also directly support this podcast at anchor.fm/play-choices-podcast/support. If we haven't convinced you yet, listen to this amazing, amazing commercial that Lucas and I put together for you. It takes me hours. It takes me, no, keep singing. It takes me hours to record. No, keep doing it. It takes me hours to record and edit this podcast. And with your donation of $1 a month could save V from smashing her fucking head into a wall. Thank you so much. And back to our episode.
So you did take it, correct?
Oh, I took it.
Oh my God, for a 20 diamond scene, that shit was so good. And let me tell you some shit, okay? This is where it's about to get a little explicit.
Okay, plus 17.
This next section is plus 17, so just skip ahead if you're a little uncomfortable. I am so upset, Lucas, because every single motherfucking time that I play a sex scene and I pick something thinking it's gonna be hot, and then I go on YouTube because I'm like, well, I want to see what the other options were. Why the other option always better?
Ooh, oh my god, wait, I'm so curious. What option did you choose?
I chose Up Against the Wall because obviously that's the first one.
That's what I chose. I'm pissed. Hold on. As you explain it, I'm looking it up. Oh, I'm pissed.
Because Up Against the Wall is a good scene. Like, regardless of what you pick, it's a good scene because Tyler's hot. But there's a part of the scene where, like, Tyler, like, takes you to his bedroom. He gives you head. And I was like, oh my god.
Oh no. What?
Because they write about women getting head so infrequently in the damn book that I'm always upset when I miss it. And then after he's done, like, doing the foreplay, he looks at you and he's like, how do you want me? And you can either tell him, like, you want him to take you from behind, or that you want to ride him.
Mm-hmm.
You know how infrequently we get to pick what position we're in the damn book? It's so infrequent. And I was just so upset. I was like, the bedroom sounded so much more tame compared to the wall. But I actually think it was the better scene. I really, really vibed with the writing that came from the bedroom choice. But, I mean, either way, this man was fine. Oh my god, when he walked into the room when you were stripped down, and then you were like, are we gonna do this? Like, yes. I'm naked, you're still clothed for some reason. It was just a good scene. How are you feeling overall about these hookup scenes? Because so far we've had 2.
I love them. I think they're so good.
They're so good.
I think it really adds to the character as well, because when you're at a busy law firm like this, and like your 2 major allies who you're dating, y'all are not in a relationship, are just as busy as you, and you have the opportunity to just like bust a nut and get back to work. Like, sometimes,
right? I'm busy. I'm on the go. Like,
right.
I wonder if we got billable hours for this.
Ooh, right. And you can make a profit. Listen, you can't turn down getting money and a nut at the same time. You can't.
No, you can't. Tyler's so handsome.
Oh.
I think it's bold that you said that we are dating anyone at the firm. So I don't personally feel like I've dated anybody. Do you feel like you've gotten to that level where, like, you can say that you've dated?
Maybe technically, but not emotionally. Because, like, we've been on dates. Like, we, had dinner multiple times, or like...
I don't think that's a date, though. I just don't consider it a date, because, like, he took us out to dinner, and his excuse was, like, you gotta get fueled up for moot court tomorrow. I was like, okay. And then, like, the scene that you get with him is, like, smoozing up a network contact.
When I tell you, we gonna get to it, but I'm so tired.
He's giving you the candy pixie dust, and you pouring it into your mouth like, it's so good, Gabe. Thank you so much. He's pouring protein powder. You're like, it's so dry and chalky. Thank you so much, Gabe.
It's just so funny that, like, the moment the sexual tension is about to burst, he want to be like, when I was a paralegal. I'm like, oh god, okay, we get it. You started from the bottom, now you here. Okay.
He said, I used to work pro bono cases all the time. We're like, oh my god, if you don't just make me fucking nut, like, in the next fucking scene. He's like, oh my god, I can't wait till we get to that fucking diamond scene so we can talk about it, because there's a lot to unpack from that diamond scene with him. Alright, so both of us hooked up, we both got our nut with Tyler. I'm really glad. Back at the office, Gabe will praise Quinn for the new evidence that they were able to find, and Sadie will interrupt, saying that Philip Rothwell, which is a character we've never met before, was sitting in their conference room upset, and the entire team will leave to join Sadie. On the way to the room, Ashton will explain that Philip's business is half of McGraw-Burns' revenue, so clearly, very big client, very big deal. And then once you're in the room, Philip will express that there is obviously a problem, and that if the firm can't fix it, he's going to take his business to a different firm. So we're left off in that cliffhanger. Chapter 6. So chapter 6 is called The Age of Majority, and the chapter summary says McGraw-Burn is at risk of losing their biggest client, and you will need to make it right. So the scene will open up with Philip being basically very pissed, and seemingly even more upset after Sadie brought in all of the senior associates. and Gabe will encourage Quinn to back him up as he starts to attempt to calm Philip down. Gabe will say that bringing in this team means that they're actually taking him very seriously, and if Quinn makes it seem like they're a specialized team in the office, they'll gain some strategy points. So this is when Philip will actually start to calm down and begin to tell us like why he's so upset, and he'll start to explain that his daughter Lydia, who has had a very rebellious streak in the past, is now dating a 23-year-old named Joey. And we learn that the age of consent in New York is 17, so the team needs to brainstorm a way to keep Joey away from Lydia because they can't tackle this from an age of consent perspective. Philip suspects that Joey is actually trying to get Lydia's inheritance money by getting her to fall in love with him because Lydia gets access to her inheritance when she turns 18, which is like very soon to the day that Philip is bringing this to them. Since the inheritance is coming from her mom's parents, Philip doesn't have a say in the terms of when it gets released to her. Quinn will suggest that they try to appeal to Lydia instead, which means that they're only going to have a day to do so. So the next scene, the senior associates go to the city home of the Rockwells, and Lydia is basically already angry at the start of the conversation. There's not really much that you can do in the first scene to influence her. But there is a diamond option for 17 diamonds to meet her boyfriend and help influence her to leave the relationship. So did you pick this option?
Oh, yes.
Of course. We're like, it's literally our biggest client.
It is our biggest client. It's our biggest client. First of all, the plot of this really hit home. Like what Quinn says to her really hit home. I was like, oh, hello? No, it was just, what we're going to talk about. It was a good scene. I think it did very well to like add to the plot. I think it was worth like what we spent on it. It was good.
Right. I think you do get some decent character development. And also I think it's just kind of fun to see the senior associates working together because I feel like we've seen them pitted against each other so often.
Exactly.
Work as a team is really interesting.
The fact that the team is literally like, Quinn, if anyone can do it, you can. And then like you can just choose who to distract the boyfriend. And it just literally, like you said, just felt like we were all coming together because we all know what's at stake. We can't fight for a position if the position don't exist no more because we fucked up.
Exactly. So if you do take the diamond option, you'll join Lydia downstairs and meet Joey. Joey will immediately begin to doubt Lydia's ability to handle the lawyers herself, asserting that she actually needs him around to manage the conversation. So this dude, like, A1 manipulator. Already telling her, like, oh, you know that you should have brought me there when they were talking to you first, right? You gotta make sure that I'm there, because you're not good with this kind of stuff. Quinn will get the rest of the team to distract Joey while they chat up Lydia. So during the conversation, we will learn that Lydia wants to prove to Joey that she can be an adult. Quinn will play on this and advise Lydia not to be involved with anyone who makes them feel like they're not good enough. At the end of the scene, Lydia will leave and ask Joey to show everyone out, and while doing so, Joey really shows his ass because he flirts with Quinn. Did he flirt with you? Was that a female-only thing, or was that no matter what?
No, he straight up flirted with me. I mean, it was so aggressive, it made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, like, that was so uncalled for. Just so, ugh. Joey's already disgusting character from the get-go, so when he did that, it was really, really off-putting. When Joey flirts with Quinn, and Quinn kind of, confronts Joey on it, Joey will say that Lydia knows that she has to act correctly to make sure that Joey stays with her. So apparently this whole flirting thing is actually playing into Joey's strategy very well. We also get the impression that Joey planned his first meeting with Lydia. It was like he was conspiring to take advantage of, the rich girl. Later, Sadie will call everyone into the office. Even if you did take the diamond scene, the team is doubtful that it's actually going to be enough to convince her. Lydia also confirms that the grandparents are not willing to change the terms of the inheritance, and it actually seems like they kind of want Lydia to blow all of her money to, get back at Philip, because apparently it's a very messy divorce between Philip and his ex-wife. So at the moment, Sadie will leave the group with hope that Quinn's newfound ally in Lydia will be the solution, and lets the team go to their other cases. So that night, Gabe will come into Quinn's office and will comment on his assessment of their performance with Lydia, and Gabe will admit that he knew the team wouldn't be able to solve the case in a few hours, but he sent them there to make it seem like they were really working on it, to kind of give the impression to Philip they were taking it seriously. And Gabe is ultimately thankful for this because it bought him time to think about what to do next. So, I spent 17 diamonds for no reason.
This was a slap. This scene, it was just such a slap in the face.
I just feel like you should not just, come out to your readers who just gave you 17 diamonds and tell them, oh yeah, that was just a waste of time. Especially because the chapter ends the way it ends. I mean, I won't skip ahead, but the chapter ends the way it ends no matter what you do.
Yeah, but like you said, it's just so deceitful because like I would rather that happen and me get like potential points in the ranking than just have it in like every other diamond scene.
Yeah, I just didn't really appreciate that. Like, I was like, okay, so I gave you 17 diamonds for, like, no reason. Maybe it's gonna be one of those things, because I know they did that where you had to pay for a scene with Ryan in the past, and then it helped with the moot court case, so, like, maybe this is gonna take place, but just at the moment, without playing ahead, I was like, I don't really like that. After explaining this, Gabe will take the moment to invite Quinn to a client dinner with Jason Cartwright, who is a CEO of an auto parts manufacturer. And Gabe has been tasked with making Jason feel like a big shot whenever he comes to New York, and Gabe thinks that having Quinn there will help with, like, the effect of, like, having a very special night to celebrate him. So this is a diamond scene where you get to spend time with Gabe and earn competition points at the same time. So did you take it?
I did.
Let's go through the scene.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So the two will take the company car to a swanky hotel restaurant, and at the restaurant, Quinn has the opportunity to introduce themselves to the staff, who all know Gabe, either as his colleague, friend, or partner. How did you introduce yourself to this
I said, Gabe, my boyfriend. I said, that's my man.
Yeah. I called him my boyfriend just because I was like, I just want to see the look on his face and how he manages with this. As you can expect, Gabe is calm, cool, and collected. Literally does not.
No, like literally.
There's just nothing.
Right.
There's nothing I can do to shake this man up. It's futile trying to surprise him with anything. When they sit down to the table, we learn that Jason actually canceled on Gabe, like literally the moment that they sat down, meaning that this is technically a scene that we're gonna have alone with Gabe. So this is, I wouldn't call it a date. I won't go as far as Lucas, but I think this is the closest we're gonna get to
right.
Again, he gave us table scraps and we're eating it like it is a Michelin star dinner. Basically.
Yeah.
Except it says we actually are probably at a Michelin star dinner, I would guess. Gabe will then ask Quinn about how they feel about McGraw-Byrne, which is another opportunity to either sell yourself or admit that you're overwhelmed. I don't know about you, but I learned from all of the previous conversations where I try to be vulnerable and show a different side of myself to Gabe, where he's like, you're not supposed to say that to your boss. So I was just like, everything's going great, Gabe. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I feel great. I'm not nervous about the competition at all, especially since I am in first place. Like, there's no reason for me to feel nervous. The waiter will return to the table and make a comment about Gabe's love life. Quinn will question him on this, and he will admit that he's all in when it comes to pretty much all parts of his life, which includes love, but he said it's hard to find someone who is, like, has the same level of commitment as him.
Which shocked me.
I thought he was going to be like, I'm married to this career, I don't have time to find somebody, but his argument is actually that, like, he's, like, too intense.
I said, excuse me? We've had how many opportunities and you haven't even kissed me?
Right, this whole I'm all in, I'm like, bitch, I don't believe you. Not for
this
a second.
Is all in? Ooh.
If this is all in, bitch,
talk.
Ashlyn, we need to go to Olive Gardens tonight because if this is his definition of all in, we have a problem.
We do.
It's so, like, I was just like, I have not seen any evidence. I feel like sometimes I feel like the writers brigade, they just be writing and just don't even go back and check. They don't think about how they wrote this man. Like, remember how in the last episode, I pointed out the fact that he was like, this is why I pressured Sadie to hire you. And then in the first episode, he was like, maybe one day I'll figure out why Sadie hired you.
Yes.
Like, the writers for Gabe, I'm so confused. It's the
like
messiest
they want him to
part.
Be a gaslighter.
And, like, it's the messiest part of the whole book, and obviously Gabe is, like, the ally that they're pushing. So, I just feel like the writing should be a little bit cleaner, and it should just, like, make more sense. Right, like, if you want to write Gabe as this person who is, like, an intense person in, like, all parts of his life, fine. But, like, make the writing the same. Because he's not all in flirting with us.
No, he's not.
This man is so hot and cold, my neck fucking breaks.
Even when we flirt in public, there was one scene where because Gabe was initially the one who figured out that the case needed to be dismissed. And he was like, oh, I'm surprised that happened. And why do you think I got, like, junior partner so fast? And you have an option to be like, oh, it's because of your looks. And then he just completely gives it back to you and was like, yeah, of course that helps. And I'm like, damn, I can't even trip you up in front of everybody else.
No, literally. Mm-mm. He doesn't give a shit. the line and the description of him in love just doesn't ring true to me at all. And like, the writing for him is like so infuriating. Like, it's starting to make me not want to spend diamonds at this point on his scene.
Right.
Like, I'm about to just watch it on YouTube until I see a scene that goes better, because this writing for Gabe is really bad. They're trying to use his own words to like personify him, but I'm like, have y'all forgotten that we've been playing with this man and flirting with him for 6 chapters?
Yes.
Like, y'all gotta make it consistent.
Before we continue with the rest of the episode, I do want to remind everyone that if you have any questions, theories, or comments that you would like to be included in a future episode, please email us at playchoicespodcast@gmail.com. Make sure to specify whether you want to be shouted out or not, otherwise all emails will be anonymous. Questions can be related to books we've recorded episodes on, books that we haven't discussed yet, or even questions that you'd like to ask us. Alternatively, you can go to our Ask box on playchoicespodcast.tumblr.com and submit a question. Just specify that it's for the podcast and we'll be sure to include it. And back to our episode.
So this is another opportunity to flirt with him whenever he opens up about his love life. And at the end of the scene, Gabe will drop you off to your apartment and orders Quinn to take the rest of the night off. So the next morning, the team is looking for solutions to the Rothwell case, and the team will bicker about what is the best solution to the case. And we do get some insight that Bo was once like the rich child with an inheritance who believed everything that someone told him, which I guess is supposed to be his sob story. Y'all can't see, but I just rolled my eyes.
Right. I'm trying to unroll them. I'm trying to put them back.
Poor me. I was so rich and stupid when I was 17 and people lied to me. Like, listen, I can at least sympathize with a young person who's getting taken advantage of, but the whole, like, I was so rich and young and I didn't know anything. Like, Martin was kind of a dick to him where he was like, why the fuck should we care? But I was like, I'm kind of with Martin on this
one. You said, back to the case. Back to the case.
Yeah. Right. I was like, okay, I guess if this is as deep as Bo's character gets, then okay.
I'm over here looking at him like, well, you're not trying to help her like me, so I can't tell. Like,
right. Bo put in no effort. Like, he could have been like, look, I was just like you. My parents are also like this, yada, yada, yada. He didn't even make an attempt. This man was like, let's go play foosball.
Yeah, like dead ass.
Oh, this shit was so annoying. And then this scene will get interrupted by Gabe bursting into a library. This man is heated when he bursts into this room. So we learn that Lydia actually got married to Joey. Again, I just pursed my lips and rolled my eyes because the whole diamond scene, what did it do?
Worthless.
What did it do? What did it do? This shit better come into play next chapter because I have no motherfucking patience for this. Like, you're not about to tell me I paid 17 diamonds for no motherfucking reason.
Oh.
Lord.
Chapter 6 is just a whole fucking mess.
It's a whole fucking mess. And now we're left off on this plot line where we have to find a way to undo the marriage. I'm tired.
I'm tired. This paycheck.
When I tell you, this is the most boring motherfucking case that we've done. Like, every other case, I'm like, oh my god, it's so interesting. Yada, yada, yada. And suddenly this, like, rich dude walks in and he's like, you guys have to fix my fucking family life for me. And it's the most boring fucking case.
And it's just so typical. This is like, I feel like would be a cliche of like a high law firm like this.
Yeah. It's like, it's not even like a case. He's like, find a way to prosecute this man. And we looking at like, what are we supposed to do?
Yes. And then just in the dialogue, how many cases we've already helped with them. I'm like, damn. Like,
yes. Like, we just constantly getting this rich man out of his rich man bullshit. And the only reason why I'll let him get away with it this time is because he's trying to help his daughter and he's trying to be a good dad. That's literally the only fucking reason. But if this was any other scenario, I would be like, fuck all the way off.
Right.
Take your whole I was like, let me stop. Because this man probably the reason we do in pro bono cases. Oh, I just don't care about these rich white people problems. I just don't give a fuck. And now we just spend like 2 chapters solving this for them.
They basically said that his daughter belonged in jail anyways, and I'm like, oh my god.
Literally. She's like all this property ass damage and
fucking arson.
Yes, like the only reason why she's not in jail is because she's rich. Like, she gonna get an inheritance at 18. I was like, God, maybe the grandparents actually do hate her. Maybe it has nothing to do with Philip. Maybe they just don't like her. And that's why they want to watch her crash and burn with all of the money. By the way, do you know how much money you gotta fucking have for you to be okay with giving inheritance to a person who you know is not gonna handle it responsibly?
Oh my god, right.
You know what next level of rich you have to be? Because when they were pulling up to the house, the team can comment on how nice it is. And if Quinn gets like upset about it, Martin's like, bro, they didn't even buy this house. Like their granddaddy's granddaddy bought the fucking house. Like that's how old money they are.
They got dolphins in the fucking pool and shit.
They had a fucking dolphin in the pool, bro. And then when you compliment the dolphin, they're like, oh yeah, sadly it's a common bottlenose. I was like,
Oh my god.
Oh, I just don't care. I just do not care. This is definitely where it gets boring. Like, people were like, oh my god, Law of Attraction is so boring. And to be frank, they were saying this before chapter 6. Like, I'm not trying to pretend this is a new criticism, because people were saying this before chapter 6, but I was like, how is it boring? And I got to this chapter, I was like, oh my god.
Like, this better be done. This better be wrapped up next chapter.
Like, literally all of us have been young and in love with someone who, like, wasn't good for us. And it's just, like, it's not compelling. It's just not a compelling story, not the point of view that I'm looking at it from, because I'm looking at it from, like, bitch, you really trying to get me to lose my job, aren't you?
There's, like, no real consequence. Like, I'm not passionate about the case.
No.
Like, I'm like, okay, she blows her money. You're her dad. She has a whole...
Aren't you rich? Like, what? Can't you supplement that shit? How much money is she getting that he's concerned about her fucking it up?
Fuck that. She has her own trust fund through him.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally sad that the trust fund that he's worried about is not his own, but the one that his wife's parents did. And I'm like, yo, she already has a whole other trust fund. Even if she blows this, whenever the proper age that your trust fund kicks in, she's gonna get even more money. Like, what is the issue? Like,
yeah, this is her trial run.
This is her trial run. That's it, bro.
This is her trial trust fund.
She got 3 lives. She got 4 lives, actually.
Bitch.
She got two trust funds, and then she got 2 wills. She has 2 wills. This bitch got 4 lives. She's fine, my dude. Like,
and he's like, oh, if you don't solve this, I'll take my business. I'm like, and go to who? Who's gonna fix this for you? There's no legal loophole here. There's, like, literally none. She's of age, is not your fucking trust fund. Like, there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do.
You're gonna sue him for lying to her and manipulating her? Like, bitch, if we could have done that, we would start doing that centuries ago to men. We can't. I just really don't give a fuck about this single case. You know how fucking heated I got? I stood up. Did y'all hear me sit down? I stood up. The energy I have right now.
And of course, there's just some rich old white man getting mad about something and making it everybody else's problem.
Right, he about to take our whole business because of his daughter. I said, sir, if you don't just grow up and fucking parent your child and stop making it our job.
Send her to jail. That solves everything.
Send her to jail.
Like, what the fuck?
He said, I'm turning my own daughter in.
Listen, he could literally listen to this. He is so rich, he could literally build his own jail that has, like, a reputation, better hospitable standards. He could build, like, a fucking 4-cell prison, get his daughter arrested, have her sentence there, and then, like, she just is living comfortably, but doesn't have access to her money.
He could literally build the burning that she lights on fire to go to jail.
Literally.
Just piss her off. We know that she does property damage when she is pissed off and she acts out. So just piss her off. Say some shit that you know is gonna get under her skin because you know she don't like your ass. She don't like her own daddy. So say some shit that's gonna piss her off. Let her burn the house down and then put her in jail. Like, just set the bitch up.
That.
Like,
you don't even gotta do all that. She already stole your car and wrecked it. That's Grand Theft Auto. That's good. You're good. Like,
oh my god.
I'm gonna call the Master Chief right now. Like,
I'm fucking done.
She need to go to jail. She a menace. You hear me?
She's a menace.
You wasted my
Society.
time. That's
She's
17 diamonds. As far as I'm concerned, 17 diamonds, that's 17 years in prison. No good behavior.
Holy shit. You said that 17 diamonds about to be 17 life sentences, bitch, for screwing me over.
Damn, you learned your lesson? Okay, now.
Oh my fucking god. Oh shit. Alright, so that's the cliffhanger we're left off. We gotta deal with this bitch again in the next chapter. Lord. I'm gonna need about 8 business days to just to have some recovery time and digest what I've lost. Oof. You know when you like look at your diamonds before you start a chapter, you're like, yeah, I got so many diamonds, and then you look at it at the end and you're like, was it worth it?
Was it worth it?
That's how I felt after the Gabe scene and then the Lydia scene. I said, damn, y'all just...
Chapter 5 diamond scenes were so good.
So fucking good.
It's set the bar for chapter 6.
Yeah.
And I was like,
chapter 6 was a wash. I
was like, I can't even imagine. Oh, don't meet your heroes, kids. That is a phrase that we say here often on the Play Choices podcast.
Often.
Do not meet your heroes.
Often. We say it often because that shit hurted it. Oh, this is what happens. They gave you some fire diamond scenes. You go gung ho, guns a-blazing in the next chapter. And now I'm out of ammo. I have nothing else to give.
It started too good. Like, we have... I know we don't like to talk about other stories, but we have stories like The Nanny Affair where it has like a slow start, then it gets good, and that's fine. And then we have some that's like ride or die, that's like consistent all the way through so far. And then we have some like Foreign Affairs. It's just like, this one was like, oof, we going. Okay, the check engine light just came on. Okay, now we out of gas, and I'm just tired.
The story is about hot and cold as Gabe is. Basically.
Oh god.
Essentially, yeah, this chapter, man, it got to a point too, like that. Can we also let's just rewind? That discussion with Philip was so long. So let me describe to you how I make my episode notes. So I make episode notes for every single like episode that we do. It's basically like a summary of plot, plus the questions I want to ask, plus like the little interjections that I want to build for my own thoughts. And I'm writing the fucking episode notes. So we're going through Philip giving us way too much fucking detail about this bitch. Like, just too much fucking detail. Then he leaves the room, and we still talking about this case, and I just looked at my episode notes, and I said, are we done? Are we done? Can we just go talk to the bitch? And then Gabe said nothing new. He spent like there were so many lines, he said nothing new. And I was like, all you had to say was go to the house. You didn't have to do all that now.
It wasn't.
It just felt like there was dialogue just to have dialogue, and I was like, y'all could have probably wrapped this up the same way that y'all fit like 36 chapters in chapter 5. Just put the fucking wedding plot in chapter 6 and make it feel like something. Like chapter 6,
We not friends.
Not entertained. I am not entertained. Not entertained with chapter 6.
Alright, before we move on to the rest of the chapter, let me interrupt to plug our socials. We are at Play Choices Podcast on Instagram and at Play Choices Pod on Twitter. You can also go to playchoicespodcast.tumblr.com for our Tumblr page, which is where I post any episode notes that I have, like links to posts I've mentioned, photos I've mentioned, or more. We're also available for listening on all major platforms, so if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate, review, and subscribe. It's a funky thing with the algorithm that helps us a lot. I wish I could explain it more in depth, but I just know that it helps us. So we do appreciate any reviews that you leave us. And as always, we are a growing podcast. So if you see us pop up on your socials, we do appreciate a share, a retweet, or a reblog, depending on the platform you see us on. We also appreciate it when you share our podcast with your fellow Choices-loving friends. And now back to the episode.
Let's move on to the rapid fire character impressions. So we're gonna start again with Sadie.
She let me down, right? Like the boss bitch that we knew, but she not in this chapter. She not in this story right now. So it's just it's just a breath.
Yeah. I mean, we all stumped, bitch. We all looking at each other across the table like, bitch, what we gonna do now?
Yeah, like, if you nervous, oh, hell.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Ryan.
Love him. Still love him. He's adorbs.
Mm-hmm. Gabe.
He gonna catch these hands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired.
Ashlyn.
I'm tired. Ashlyn, good. Still kind of neutral. Like, I like her. You know, she's chill. She's a good, you know. I don't like how they write her, like, her love scenes, because it just doesn't feel believable. But, like, no, she chill.
Really? You don't think her love scenes are believable?
No.
I want you to go more into that.
Okay. I don't think it's believable because, like, it's just, like, it always involves the importance of, like, a case, as opposed to, like, Gabe just, like, oh, let me catch you. Like, it's a little bit more personable, right? It's a little bit more, like, let me get you coffee. Like, let me do this. Like, he does have diamond scenes that incorporate, like, the work, but all of Ashlyn's are like that.
I guess I would say my answer is the opposite. But it's primarily because of the dialogue. Because, like, to me, Gabe's dialogue is awful. Like, I'm really starting to resent these scenes. To me, if they could just write Gabe's scenes like they write Ashlyn's, it would be more believable why it's so hot and cold. Because every time that Quinn brings up a date, it's always when they're in the middle of a case.
Yes!
So, Ashlyn's like, I'm flattered and definitely interested, but we're at work right now, so let's just kind of save that conversation for later, which is a hard conversation to have outside of work because these bitches are always at work.
Right.
But with Gabe, it's like they'll be out of work. Like, Gabe will find the time to take the MC, like, out of work. And then Quinn will make a move and he'll be like,
we should get back to work.
lick the back of your tonsils. And then he'll be like, get out of my company car, bitch. And to me, it's just, like, the way that, to me, Ashlyn is more of a slow burn because you're like, oh my god, every single time I see her, she's in the office. And I just can't find a time to fucking put the moves on her outside of the office yet, right? But Gabe will take you out of the office where there's, like, no prying eyes. And he could be like, listen, I mean, if they had just written the dialogue a little bit more closer to Ashlyn's where he flirts with you a little bit, but he's like, you know we can't do that. You know what I mean? But instead, he's like, you're so difficult to, like, read sometimes, Quinn. And then, like, 5 seconds later, he's like, it's a little bit too challenging for me, I can't do this. And it's just, like, it's just so fucking hot and cold that he's just contradicting himself, and it actually is, like, upsetting.
Right.
To me, it makes the diamond scenes feel, like, 100% worthless.
Oh, absolutely.
Because at least with Ashlyn, it feels, also the thing with Ashlyn's diamond scenes is that at least they feel warm to me. Like, the conversation feels warm. It feels like you're building a friendship with her in addition to flirting with her. Yeah. But, like, with Gabe, every single time we out to dinner, this bitch, like, so how are you liking the firm? And I'm like, can we talk about something else? This is not date conversation. And then, like, every single time you talk to him, he's like, yeah, I won the fucking moot court case. I, like, ripped all their assholes apart to get to fucking partner. And it's just every single time we talk to him, it's a conversation about careers. And, like, I get it that they're lawyers. They spend all their time at work, and, like, I acknowledge that. But it's like he doesn't even bother to ask, like, any questions about who Quinn is as a person. And so it's like every single fucking dinner feels like a business dinner. Even when you try to make it, like, flirtatious, it's like it's there for one line. And they talk about one spark of electricity because his Pikachu ass shocking us every single fucking time we make eye contact with him. But it doesn't go anywhere. Like, to me, it's just so, like, there's 2 different types of slow burns happening. They're both slow burns. Let's get that clear. They're both slow burns. But to me, one feels more satisfying than the other. Like, I can feel Ashlyn, like, slowly creeping her way over to me. Gabe be standing next to you, and then he takes, like, 3 steps back. Literally, weren't we talking about Olivia Rodrigo? Yes, we're talking about Olivia Rodrigo. Yes.
Are we the same brain? 1 step forward, 3 steps back.
That's back. That's literally Gabe. That's literally Gabe.
You her. Like, ooh.
Oh my god. If her shit was not copyrighted, we'd be playing that right now. Oh, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of either romance because I haven't really gotten super into them, but Gabe kind of pissed me off, and Ashlyn, I feel myself kind of warming up to her a little bit more. Okay, so who's the next person? Bo? Who's Bo?
Cry Me a River.
Martin?
Cry Me Two Rivers.
Cry Me Two Rivers.
Martin's so mad that he just gonna be eating my crumbs, my scraps. He just so mad, like.
And then Gigi.
Oh, Snake.
Oh, damn! You went Snake this time?
I think I went Snake. Because how she's still not like, she's the only one who's not talking about the competition. She's not asking what she needs to do better. She's not doing none of that. Like, this girl could be like, oh, you in 8th place. There's only 5 people, and she'd still be like, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Like, all right. Like, what?
Yeah, basically.
Why are you here?
She probably looks away when Gabe shows the rankings, and she's like, I don't even care.
Yeah, like, why are you here if you're not fighting with me?
We need some more scenes with her because right now she's just feeling very aloof and like I don't like all that. Like I'm trying to get to know this bitch better because we had one scene with her in chapter 2, right? And I was good.
Yes. Sometimes she speak and she pop up and I'll be like, oh hey you, yeah. Hey girl, what's up?
Right. I'm like, hey girl, you looking cute today. Where have you been? Were you on a vacation last week? Yeah, so here's another question I'll ask you. Who is your favorite coworker?
Oh, Ashlyn.
Who's your least favorite coworker?
Oh, God. Bo. Bo. I think it goes Ashlyn, Gigi, Martin, Bo.
Okay, now let's add Gabe, Sadie, and Ryan there.
Oh, okay. Ryan. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Fuck. Sadie, Ryan, Gabe, and then the rest. Ashlyn, Gigi. Yeah.
Okay.
Def. Because, like, I'm just hoping me and Gabe work out. But I could respect his, like, work history. Sadie, hello, she gave me the opportunity. She built this whole industry for herself. And Ryan is just a go-getter. Like, he just knows, like, he just knows that, like, if we all help each other, then we all can just, like, be successful. And I like that. I love that. He makes me feel like it's not always going to be, like, cutthroat. Him and Ashlyn. That's why I like them the most.
If I had to make a ranking from, like, most favorite to least favorite, I would say it's probably Ashlyn, Ryan, Sadie, Gabe, Gigi, Martin, Bo.
Yeah, Bo's no. Bo's a no.
No.
Okay.
No.
Bo's a no.
They really tried it with his I'm a rich white kid sob story, and I was like, So was the rest of your frat house, like.
I said if your aunt would have heard this, she would have slapped the shit out of you.
I know. Sometimes I feel like even Sadie be looking at him in disgust of some of this.
Yes. Like, she dead ass be looking at him like, why do you have my last name?
She's like, you're only here because my sister begged you to be here. That's it. Don't even look at me. Okay, and then the last thing that we have is bingo. So let's run through this. MC can sleep with their boss. Good Lord, please. Lord, let me talk to you.
Let's have a one-on-one.
Shh. Come close.
I'm close.
Come close.
Okay.
You better not make me wait until chapter 15 to see this man's dick.
Yes.
You better not.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I'm tired. The opposition is friends with the judge. Oh, we haven't really gotten a case like that yet. Then we have the suddenly it hits you trope wins a case. No. MC gives legal advice to random people. No, I wouldn't. No. Pro bono lawyers also make a lot of money. I don't know if we're really going to get this one. I mean, I won't mark it as something that we're not going to get quite yet, but I just don't think we are because every single time they mention pro bono so much, like, and people be talking about pro bono like it's a drag. Like Martin and Bo be like, "Why are we doing a pro bono?"
Right.
Like it clearly does affect them in some way because they're like, "Why are we doing it?" There's a tragic story of a loved one getting screwed by the legal system. No. Misuse of billable hours. No. MC adopts a pet from a client. No. Someone's parents are in law, but they aren't passionate about law. I mean, there's still TBD on that.
Yes.
I feel like that's very likely, but still TBD. MC has only one long-term client for the entire book.
Please God, no.
I hope not. If I
please don't let us.
Rockwell motherfucker, I swear to God, please.
I am begging.
MC hooks up with an LY at work. Lord, please. Pixelberry, please hear my cry. Hear my prayer. Please, 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 chapter 7.
Please.
Please, please, please. I'm dying here.
I'm dry.
I'm so dry. It's like the Sahara.
I had to go to the firefighter.
I'm going outside of my network to get my nut. Like, please.
It was so dry. I was about to be set ablaze, and the firefighter, he had to help. Okay.
He had the hose.
The
firefighter had the hose.
He had the hose.
MC has a lot of free time despite being a lawyer. I really don't think we're gonna get this one. This bitch is at work all the fucking time. The only free time we got was going to the fucking fire station. We were still at work. That was it. MC will get gifts from a client. No, that hasn't happened yet. A lawyer sticks to their moral code. Have we been put in a position where we have to, because in order to stick to something, you have to be given the opportunity to compromise your moral code. I don't feel like we can present it right yet.
We haven't.
And then a lawyer does something unethical to win the competition. Don't really feel like we're there yet. So, dry. This was dry. This was
just like Gabe's relationship.
Yeah, this was uneventful from a bingo perspective, but that's the end of our episode. Thank you so much for listening. Our episodes release on Saturday at midnight. Every single listening and streaming platform you can imagine. And also, quick plug, I am streaming on Twitch, so if you do want to watch me play on Twitch, I am currently streaming every Tuesday, 7 p.m. EST. It's twitch.tv/playchoicespodcast. And I stream every Tuesday with Romance Club. We're playing Heaven's Secret and The Shadows of St. Four right now, so if you'd like to join, that's when I'll be available. And if you can't join live, it's totally okay. All of the replays are always available on YouTube, too. And our YouTube channel's name is Play Choices Podcast as well. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.